Bring this down a little bit. Almost ready. Okay, I'm going to take my mask off so that the deaf community can read my lips because I can't sign fast enough. Sorry. Do we have pop culture news for this week?
They released the Dark Side.
Oh, hey, that's muted. They released the Dark Side trailer for
Justice League.
Justice League.
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
It was awesome.
Is it? Okay.
Deathstroke and the Joker show.
Oh. Is it? But who's playing the Joker?
Leto.
Okay.
Pepe Le Pew was canceled.
Oh yeah, Pepe Le Pew got canceled because he's all about assaulting women. Yeah. Okay. How will his career ever survive?
You want to hear what the scene was? Because they filmed the scene.
Yeah, I heard the scene was him getting smacked. And
no, the scene was LeBron literally telling him about consent. They filmed it, but they didn't animate it, so they're leaving it out of the final cut of the movie.
But that honestly seems okay to me. Like, they should have left that in. That should have been a greater statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. Whatever. So that happened. What else? Any other pop culture news? Oh yeah, 2 Spider-Man movie franchises supposedly, but the rumor is Sony and Disney are coming back together.
Yes.
So
Holland's Spider-Man will continue, and they will be introducing Miles Morales to join the young.
Who's gonna play Miles Morales?
I don't know. That one kid from Stranger Things will make a good Miles Morales.
Oh, he would. He would make a good Miles Morales, and he's about the age right now too. He's getting there.
Roughly.
That's a good casting right there.
One of the
Okay.
younger brothers from Blackish.
Okay.
They're about the right that 14 to 16, 17
Yeah.
age.
That's good, dude. I like that. That's a good idea right there.
Oh, outside of pop culture, we're going to 50% capacity starting tomorrow.
Oh yeah, 50% capacity.
With pop culture, though, that means parks and stuff are opening back up.
I'm worried that we're doing this too soon. I'm worried that we're doing this too soon and that our governor is trying to kill us because he's worried he's going to get recalled. But just telling you what's going on. Anyways, let's not talk politics. Let's talk comics. First comic of the week, Ryan Ferrier, Moritat. Is that really this artist's name, Moritat? I like that name. Casey Silver, and we're talking about Rat Queens. This is issue 25. I'm assuming that's issue 25 of this run because there is no way that there is only 25 issues of Rat Queens. This might actually, first of all, the cover is amazing. If you know the character Hannah, she's kind of split in two, and there's an evil side to her, sort of, a demonic side to her. On top of that, this is going to be wrapping up the current Rat Queens run, and this might be the last Rat Queens comic there is, as far as we know right now. Was it good? Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, I love everything Rat Queens. It's essentially a D&D campaign. If the campaign was entirely female and they were all drunks that love to party and curse and screw, and it's very comical but very adult. There is a literal line in this where they say, "Rat Queens, it's time for justifiable murder." I love the one-liners that come out of Rat Queens, and you should love it too. The art is always amazing. There hasn't been a Rat Queens issue that I looked at and was like, "Oh, the art sucks." It's always good. The story's always good. It's just a good all-around comic. So if you need fantasy, like top-tier fantasy, definitely come pick up Rat Queens. Next is Seeley, Howard, and Howard, Pramanik, Gooden, Duke, and World. Oh, this is Vampire the Masquerade. God, do I love this series. I'm so happy. I thought that it was ending after the last comic because it seemed like a logical ending, but no, I'm guessing it's either ongoing or 12 issues because after reading this, we're nowhere near the ending. This centers around, a vampire sort of takes on an adopted vampire that turns out to be a caitiff, which is a clanless vampire, a thin blood, and she's adopted her. Meanwhile, she's working as, I believe, the sheriff or maybe the Scourge. I can't remember, but she's working as one or the other for the Twin Cities Prince. And there's a lot of vampire politics. It goes back and forth, a lot of backstabbing. That's what you get. Meanwhile, there's an Anarch story that I'm happy to say syncs up with the Camarilla story because they're two factions. Camarilla are the Ivory Tower vampires. They're sort of like the vampires that stay in plain sight and rule the world. Meanwhile, the Anarchs, they just want to put a boot to their neck because they don't like boots on their neck. So it's just really, 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 really fun. So anyways, I've loved this run, and there's no disappointment here. The art is still stellar, and the storyline's really, really good. You will have a good time with this, I promise you. Next is McKay, VD, and Guru Effects, and man, we need to talk about this. It's almost my pick of the week, almost, and that is Taskmaster. My God, has this Taskmaster run been fun? But go figure, it's McKay, the same writer for Black Cat, right? Black Cat.
Yes, sir.
McKay is amazing, and just he writes dialogue with such good humor, and it's just it fits Taskmaster as a character perfectly. Now, if you don't know Taskmaster, I've told people before, Taskmaster is essentially the Moon Knight memes, because the Moon Knight memes aren't actually Moon Knight. But he seems like the memes minus the ketamine drug addiction. If you take that out of the memes, you get Taskmaster is what it feels like. And this has been amazing. He's been framed for the murder of Maria Hill. Meanwhile, it's put him on the warpath with Black Widow's hunting him. He has managed to survive a fight with Black Widow, survive a fight and win against Hyperion, which shouldn't be possible if you know the character Hyperion. He's been down a lot of roads, and right now he's decided that he's going to invade Wakanda. That doesn't seem wise. That seems about as wise as fighting Hyperion, I gotta tell you. Yeah. The dialogue's really good, and he's kind of getting to the bottom of things and wondering at this point if Fury himself is being played. And I don't, Nick Fury doesn't get played too often, but when he does, it's pretty sour. So let's see how that works out. Zdarsky, Chicheno, and Menyes. Yes, we're going to talk about it. Daredevil has been amazing. We have Elektra in the cow, and Elektra is filling in as Daredevil. Do you get that in this issue? Sadly, no. We're going to get the Daredevil on the inside of prison story, which is still fun, but at times it just feels to me like Rorschach inside of prison. Like, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. It's good, but I do like his internal conflict and some of his atonement, but I don't know. I'm bored with Matt Murdock. I think we need to move on to Elektra. What did you call her? Daredevil? Daredevil. We need to move on to Daredevil and just make it almost entirely about Daredevil. Make it happen. No, you can't do that. But I'm loving the Elektra stuff. We'll have that here on our shelf. Next is Waters, Wingard, Bidikar, and Muller, and we're talking about Homesick Pilots. Now, the art for these comics are stellar. The storyline, well, it's a weird storyline. It centers around a band where one of the members gets abducted by a haunted house, and the haunted house wants you to hunt down relics that are haunted and bring them back to the haunted house. Meanwhile, the haunted house is killing rival bands. There's a lot of moving parts in this story. My God. But, I mean, it is a very punk-sounding story, isn't it?
I'm down.
It's good. The story's been fun. There's definitely a lot of moving parts. At times it can be a little convoluted, but it doesn't mean it's not fun. The art is great. I think you should be on board. This issue in particular, it's pretty good. Not as good as the other issues, I'm going to say. This is sort of filling in some backstory, but it was pretty good for the most part. Someone's at our door. Kieron Gillen, Esad Ribic, and Matthew Wilson is our next book. And this is Eternals. Man. The art for Eternals has been just absolutely top tier. Just one heck of a book. And yeah, Who's doing the art? Assad Ribic. Is Assad Ribic also working on like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's so familiar, and I can't put my finger on it. The art is amazing. The story, honestly, the first issue was not my jam. The second issue was absolutely amazing, and I told you guys I was fully on board with this Eternals run. Does it let up in this one? No. This one centers around Athena and a little bit more Icarus. I do love the Icarus character for a lot of reasons. One, he's pretty cool. He's got a good internal monologue. Two, he loves coffee and constantly, well, not constantly, but occasionally references that he loves coffee. And I too love coffee, which leads me to believe that I have superpowers. Obviously. No. But there's a lot of fun in this story. It's kind of a murder mystery with gods. And the deviants finally appear. Now, if you know the deviants, you know that, the Eternals kill them because they're deviants. And sometimes it seems like it's a jerk move because they're really ugly, sort of.
Being punished for being ugly?
No, there's more to it than that. But it always felt like, I was always like, are these people bullying these people? Like, it's always kind of felt that way. And there's justification for some of it. But anyways, we get more of that story, that murder mystery. And this one centers around Athena, which is going to explain her character a bit more. If they sound like gods, that's because mankind mistakes them for gods and named gods after them. So if you didn't know that about the Eternals, you do now, and you're getting prepped for the Eternals movie when it shows up, because now you know a fact that other fans don't know. Next is a comic that, well, Cam complains is always my pick of the week. It's Ewing, Bennett, Jose, Bravo, and Mounts. It always is my pick of the week for good reasons. It's amazing! We can talk about the last issue of Immortal Hulk. The last issue of Immortal Hulk showed that the leader got played, and that, in fact, this had been a plan from the One Below all the time, so the leader got absorbed in hell. Meanwhile, we have Absorbing Man attached to what looks like the leader, but we're not entirely sure. I have a sneaky suspicion it's Devil Hulk in a different form, but who knows? And then, meanwhile, Joe Fixit is now alone. Well, not really. Alone with the original Savage Hulk, which is a wild combination and has worked so well, including that one shot where it was like he was defending the Hulk because the Hulk is drained of his power. This issue is picking up where Gamma Flight's new team, or maybe Alpha Flight's new team, I forget how it works out, Alpha Flight's new team, is taking on the Savage Hulk and Joe Fixit. And so that's going on. Meanwhile, the rest of Shadow Base people are trying to figure out what's going on with Absorbing Man. That's what you get. There's a lot more to it. I definitely didn't spoil the whole thing for you. Sorry, I let my mouth run on. But it's a damn good story, and there's so much. Every single time I pick up one of these, I feel like I'm reading a good novel, is what it feels like. Until you get to that last page, and then you realize you're in a horror film, because that last page is always something horrific. This is no different. It's great. Great. Is it my pick of the week? No. It's not my pick of the week, Cam. It's close, but it's not my pick of the week. All right. Next is Spencer Gleason Delgado. Can you tell? It's finally happened. Amazing Spider-Man. The new Spider era appears. And this is, he's got a new suit. Hooray! I don't like it. He looks like Blue Beetle if Blue Beetle was more gray. That's my take on it. I don't like his suit. Now, the premise I like. Nick Spencer is finally getting away from that awful, what was it called? Sin Eater and all that. I hated that. He's finally getting away from that. Nick Spencer's doing something different. The art is really good. I don't know what happened, but the art is great. Now, the premise on this, let me ask the guys this. Who is Spider-Man's biggest villain?
Ooh.
You guys ready for this? Who's Spider-Man's biggest villain?
Adulthood.
You're both kind of right.
Where you going, Mick? Where you going?
But really, what do you think?
Oh, man.
I'm going to say it's poverty.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
he's tapped a plan that involves tapping J. Jonah Jameson and what's her name? It's gonna drive me nuts. What's her name? Nora Winners. And the plan is, well, they're gonna tap into a new look and get social media involved and maybe an app and see if they can't generate Spider-Man some money. So it does sound familiar. So while I like this new angle, maybe I don't like the new suit. Maybe it'll grow on me. I kind of hate the new suit. I like this new angle. I want to see where they're going with this. But more importantly, we get J. Jonah Jameson, who has grown into like Spider-Man's best friend, in case you didn't know in the comics. We get him as the man in the seat, the man in the chair. His oracle, if you will, is J. Jonah Jameson, which is a weird combination, but it works. So I want to know where they're going with this. You will too. And you definitely shouldn't skip Amazing Spider-Man. Again, it's not my pick of the week because I haven't really liked Spencer's run as of recent, and I'm worried this is going to turn into something foul. But it's a pretty good start. I'm sort of digging it. Next is Soye. I never know how to pronounce that name. Rosanas and Rosenberg. And this is, it's Operation Starlight, Reactions to the Lost. And this is Star Wars, issue number 12. Now, if you don't know what they're doing with the new Star Wars run, it's amazing. It's during the time between Empire and Return of the Jedi. How many years happened between Empire and Return of the Jedi? A decade. So there is a lot of stuff to cover that we've never covered before, to include Lando maybe not being fully forthright after the Han thing.
No.
Yeah. But that, and we get the origins of Poe Dameron, who apparently had some ties to the original trilogy that we didn't know about. And we get info on his mother and where she originates, which, I mean, if you know Poe, it kind of makes sense, but it also kind of doesn't, because people who aren't Force sensitive shouldn't be doing this particular profession. But whatever. We're just going to let that one go because it's just another hole in my childhood, another hole in the plot line of my childhood. All right, anyways. So, is it good? Yes, it's great. It's great. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you should absolutely be on board with this run. This is no different. Granted, there's not as much action, but we do get one little nugget of truth. Did you know Han Solo hates the cold?
What?
He'll see you in hell. So, okay, we all kind of suspected that, but at any rate, that's covered in this. Don't skip it. It's great. If you're a Star Wars fan, you will not be bored with that new run. Trust me. Next is Elliot Rahal, Maria Monaco, and we're talking about Knock 'em Dead. Oh, and Matt Mia and Taylor Esposito. We're talking about Knock 'em Dead. This is the stand-up comic. The stand-up comic. All right. And it's centered around, a comedian that had a near-death experience and wound up having a demon inside of him. And the side effect to having a demon inside of you is that when you're on stage, the demon makes you pretty damn funny. Okay. So he exorcised the demon, and it turned out that he wasn't quite as funny. And so he turned around and what is going on in the mall?
I don't know. What is wrong with these heels?
There's a camera running and we have all of 100 subscribers and you gotta scream like you want to be on camera. Oh, we'll make you famous, fart fuckers. Oh, sorry. That was a bit much. I'm sorry. A hell of a curse word. I'm sorry. The infantryman in me came out for a second there. Okay, so he took the demon out of himself, and it turns out he wasn't as funny. So what do you do if you're a stand-up comic that isn't quite as funny and you're dying on stage? Well, you put the demon back. And that's where this one picks up, and it's awesome. The writing this is really fun. I like where the story goes. The art is just top-notch. Who knew that Aftershock Comics would be knocking so much stuff out of the park this year? It's great. Oh, Lahaina's laughing. Did you see my curse word? Sorry, Lahaina. Sorry, guys, for cursing. I was a paratrooper once. Still am. Next is Vita Ayala, Bernard Chang, and Marcelo Mayolo. And this is Children of the Atom. If you can't tell, this is a Krakoa X-Men book. And yes, does that look very generic? Like these characters are sort of ripoffs of the X-Men? It should. I'm not kidding you. That character's name is Cyclops Lass. Is she a new character, Cam?
I think they all are.
Okay. There is Cyclops Lass, a teleporter who's calling himself, I think, Daycrawler. There is a lot of... Okay, but here's the thing. You start reading that and you're like, these characters clearly ripping off the X-Men. They're blatantly ripping off the X-Men because they're kids that look up to the X-Men. They are mutant kids living in the regular world who don't quite want to take the plunge into Krakoa yet, but are starting to get the attention of everyone else. So that's a problem for Krakoa. And this is a great and fun storyline that I want desperately to know where it's going. Who's writing this? Oh, yeah, Vita Ayala. Good showing, Vita Ayala. This was fun all around. So we will have this on our shelf, and I don't think you should skip this. Almost my pick of the week again for Marvel. Wait, actually, you know what? No, it's not. Almost my pick of the week for Marvel. Next is Zub, Smith, Poggi, and Silva, and we're talking about Conan the Barbarian. The Sumerian Unchained Land of the Lotus begins here. Yes, this is more Conan. Guess what? What are Conan's problems? Alcoholism, blood god, alcoholism,
wizards,
and chauvinism, and wizards. Yeah, and wizards. So those tend to be his problems. This problem isn't it for once. This problem centers around the fact that he found a sword that was cursed, that was giving him bloodlust, and now he wants to deliver it back to the warlord who owned it so he can break the curse. Meanwhile, he goes into the Eastern lands and gets captured taking the sword. So this is a different kind of storyline. Now, we've seen Conan captured before. It never works out for his captors, literally never. But it doesn't happen all that often. So it's a nice, refreshing change from the Ra Blood God, which was 12 literal issues of this run, right? It was 12 issues. So, yeah, it's different. I'm liking it. You should come pick it up. It's good. Now, keep in mind that the original Robert E. Howard stuff, he based a lot of this stuff on real-world stuff. So, yes, it's referencing our real-world East. Yes, they have a great wall that he's scaled. You can kind of figure out where Robert E. Howard got his source from. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It's okay. I had a good time with this Conan issue, and I think you will too. Next is Guya March, and we're talking about Carmen, issue number 1. Now, is this character a new character or an old character? Because it looks really familiar to me. I can't tell. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this character, whatever this character is some kind of embodiment of an angel of death or maybe an angel of mercy. It's not entirely clear. Meanwhile, the main character is, well, she's depressed. Her significant other has been cheating on her, so she decides to take her life, which, oddly enough, leads to a bunch of weird, funny, and pervy nude scenarios. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. The art is really good. The story's definitely all over the place. But was I bored? No, I wasn't bored. It's intriguing, and I kind of want to know where they're going. I was a little bit shocked. So, yeah, I don't know. I will say that as somebody who is really reserved and can't take a lot of, I guess a lot of sexual content in comics is just, it's not my jam. You do get a lot of that in this issue. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. It's up to you if you want it. Sorry, man. Was the fart effer curse word too much? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. It's just an infantry curse came out of me because I was annoyed in the moment. I'm sorry. Random
stuff comes out of my mouth too, man.
Kay Perkins, Mello Brown, Mike Johnson, and Fernando Dagnino. We're talking about Blade Runner Origins. This is another Blade Runner story. Now, is that a bad thing? No, I've actually had a really good time with, I think, all of the Blade Runner stories that we've had recently. I will say that the art was not on point for one of them. I was not really feeling it. I'm happy to say that the art in this one is stellar. It really works for this storyline. It's great. This one centers around, well, detective, surprise, trying to get to the bottom of something involving replicants. Okay, yeah, it's typical Blade Runner like flavor, but is it good? Yes, I was actually hooked from beginning to end. And normally I try to speed read comics, but just get enough of the story. This is one where I had to sit down and go, oh, this is kind of intriguing. Like the dialogue is good, the story is fun, and the last page did kind of leave me going, oh, okay, I see where they're going. Plus, you get to see replicants up to no good in some scenes, which is always kind of interesting to see. So, yeah, don't skip it. It's fun. And if you like cyberpunk, comic is your jam for this week. Trust me. Next, we have, well, this is 30 years of Deadpool. Deadpool, the nerdy 30, as Deadpool calls it on the cover. Is this the A cover? Is that the A cover?
No, that's the Liefeld cover.
Oh, it's the Liefeld cover.
Can you see that again? No, that's the A cover.
That's the A cover?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is the A cover.
Ah.
So Daredevil is celebrating his 30th anniversary, and, well, what do you get in this? Well, you get several stories which may or may not be main continuity. One of them in particular leading to the fact that, oh no, perhaps the worst thing Daredevil could have ever done has finally happened. What is that? Well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to spoil the storyline, but it's the first story in this, and you're going to kind of need to read it. Now, the rest of it, are there other implications? Yes. Daredevil and Wolverine might have met prior to him being Deadpool, which all these Deadpool revelations that happen earlier on, they happen. They count them as canon. The reason the Venom symbiote being crazy is because of Deadpool, because he had it first. Nobody knew that until it was written in later. But I mean, I don't know. It works, and I like when they do it. In this one in particular, well, Cable might have met Deadpool when he was a baby. Yeah, are you getting Cosmic Ghost Rider vibes? Because I am. It felt like that.
Well, I remember he's got 3 origin stories that he's told, and everyone's different.
Yeah. But that's Cosmic Ghost Rider.
No. I'm talking about Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah, he had the abusive dad, and then he didn't have a dad, and then there was something else.
Yeah, who knows, right?
Yeah.
No, you're good. It wasn't a bad little slip of the tongue. Okay. Lahaina says it's okay. So, I don't know though, Lahaina. You're kind of brutal like the rest of us, though, too.
Devil dog.
Anyways, so is this comic good? Actually, it's great, and I'm saying that as someone who does not like Liefeld very much. I mean, I like him as a person. I just don't like his art ever. And his stories recently. What was that one? Major X?
Yeah.
To hell with Major X. That was horrible.
With
the mother, Major X sucked. Anyway, so I don't like Liefeld, but is this good? Yeah, actually, I had a really good time with this, and I don't think you should skip it. And there might be some grand implications from it. That's all I'm going to say. Let's get to some DC stuff. I think I have some Marvel stuff mixed in there because we still haven't gotten to my pick of the week for Marvel. We'll get to it. This is Tinian the 4th, March, and Prianto. Yes, that dream team. It centers around the Joker. Now, we can't talk about issue 1s without talking about spoilers. So if you don't want some spoilers in your Joker comic, now is the time to mute this. Now, this picks up on the heels of the Joker War, or A-Day as they called it, where he messed up most of Arkham Asylum, freed a lot of Arkham Asylum, killed a lot of people, killed a lot of other people, and then fled. We thought he was dead, right? But it's the Joker. We know he's never dead. He has fled out of country, and somebody might be tasking a certain someone as the Joker. Now, if you know anyone tied, I'm not necessarily saying the Bat Family, but tied to the Bat Family that would have the ultimate beef, you might know who they would send. And they're going to make him an offer that he might not be able to accept or refuse. And that offer is to, this is the spoiler, so if you don't want to know this, like mute right now, to kill the Joker.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. And more importantly, the people that are offering this are the rich, so some rich families from Gotham. Now, I have a feeling that, and it's not revealed, but I have a feeling that might be a certain court in play. We'll have to see. Is there a lot of good stuff in here? Yes. It's great. The Punchline story after, it's kind of toss away. If you like Punchline as a character, okay. I know we had somebody in our store last week that was claiming that he read all the old Punchline comics and knew them all. Cam, you were here for that. Wasn't that comical?
It was me and you.
Wasn't that comical?
He said that he has all her old issues and Punchline's barely a year old.
All her old issues, and I was like, well, she's only 6 months old, so. So, anyways, if you need a little Punchline, there is a throwaway Punchline story in the back of this. I don't much care for it. You might like it. But the Joker story in the beginning was great, really good. Now for a comic I just can't stand. This is season 2 of Green Lantern. Now I'm gonna correct myself here. I didn't like Sharp's art at the beginning of that run. That was my biggest beef with Sharp's art. Now it seems like my biggest beef right now is Grant Morrison's writing. I get what he's trying to do. It feels like he's trying to like recapture that magic of All-Star Superman and that weirdness of All-Star Superman, but turn it into a Green Lantern story. But I don't care for it. And this one picks up with, well, the Emerald Knight being a literal knight. A literal knight with like a green shield and green sword and
Helmet.
Grant Morrison, you're weird, dude.
Yeah, the cape and the boots.
Yeah.
That's inviting Wizard Wrath.
Oh, yeah, Wizard Wrath. Okay. So, okay. How do I review this book? I don't know. Is there a proper way to review this book? Look, I'm just going to say it. I love Grant Morrison for 99% of the stuff he does. This one felt like he was on entirely too much mescaline. And I don't know. I didn't... If it was more like Hunter S. Thompson meets Green Lantern, I'd be fully on board, but it's just too weird for my taste, which is weird for me to say as a fan. So we'll have it on our shelves if you really need it, but I didn't like it. And that's the last of it, isn't it? That's the end of season 2.
Yes.
Season 2, Green Lantern, is finished. I pray there's not a season 3 for this. Oh, man. I hope somebody else takes over Green Lantern. It's so weird to say that because, like, Grant Morrison is so amazing on every front except with Green Lantern. I want him to take his hands off my hero.
Like, for those of you that have been watching this for a while, you will know that Steve has been like the Green Lantern fan.
Yep.
Like, he told me about Blackest Night and everything, and he got me all my mythos straight. And he's been the most critical of Green Lantern since we've opened the shop.
Yeah, I can't. Next is a book that absolutely floored me and is gonna be my pick as DC Pick of the Week for good reason. We're gonna be having, not just for this reason, but we're gonna be having the artist who did the cover. What's his name? Hiram Hababshi.
Hicham Habshi.
Hicham Habshi. I'm so bad with names. Hicham Habshi. He's going to be in our store on Saturday signing books. So we put it out on social media. We will have copies of this here for you to get signed. It's Batman Urban Legends. Now, is that why it's my pick of the week? Absolutely not. 100% not. This story was amazing for a lot of reasons. I don't care for the Grifter story at the end. I'm just going to tell you that flat out. It's not my jam. The Black Lightning story is pretty good. There's a Harley and Poison Ivy story. But the most amazing Red Hood story is the beginning of this story involving Red Hood finding, a kid who might be an orphan because his mom overdosed. And he's got to take him to his father. And, oh, man, it's really touching and painful to see Jason Todd in this situation. And it pulled at every heartstring I have. More importantly, because it's another Red Hood story. And we don't have one on the shelf right now, which is killing me. But oh God, this was a good story. And I hope that this grows, that there is something taken from this, and that they move it into a new comic. Because that's the kind of feel I want for a Red Hood comic. That right there. It was perfect. I don't know who wrote it. Because these are several stories. Oh, the first one is Zdarsky. Oh.
Ooh, he's on fire right now.
He is on fire. Yeah, you're not kidding. Let me get a drink.
That, he's doing Daredevil right now too, right?
Yup.
He's doing the Conan series that's coming out.
Yeah, Zdarsky's kind of amazing, but that Red Hood story. Wait, is he doing Daredevil?
I believe so.
He's working for Marvel and DC?
Yeah, because he's doing that.
Oh, he is doing that. Yeah, that's right.
The Spider Shadow thing.
Wow. Okay. Put Chip Zdarsky on Red Hood, please, DC. Please hear this call and put him on Red Hood. I would read the crap out of that, and let him change the mythos in any way he wants. Next is the legendary and amazing Scott Snyder, Raphael Albuquerque, and with Dave McCaig, and we're talking about American Vampire 1976. Now, there are so many twists and turns. One, the American Vampire is no longer a vampire. Two, they've met with the Council of Vampires in the last issue, which was kind of weird and funny. Three, they've been betrayed, I think, multiple times, and this might make, I don't know, the fourth or fifth time they've been betrayed. But is this good? Yeah, it's great. I'm loving everything about this American Vampire run, and the twists, I never quite see them coming, but go figure, it's Scott Snyder. He's never going to write anything that you see coming. There's always going to be enough, or like a bunch of good twists and turns. We will have this on our shelf. Come pick it up. It's great. Not my DC pick of the week, though. Not at all my DC pick of the week. Next is, well, it's the new Superman run. Issue number 29 is Superman. No longer is Bendis on this. This is Johnson, Hester, and Gapster, and Hi-Fi. And frankly, I'm okay with that. I wasn't enjoying the Bendis run of Superman. I like him on other things. But is this good? Yes. The art is really, really good. I can't put my finger on it. Does it feel sort of like just a touch of Saturday morning cartoon?
I feel that.
Just a touch of Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, and this is centering around, well, one day your dad gets kind of old and you realize that maybe, you can surpass him in some things. And that day comes to Jonathan Kent. And, it's shocking. I think it's shocking for every kid to, live through that sort of thing. That's what it is. That's the first story. The second story is, the second story had quite a bit of, twists to it, I think. No, it didn't. No. The second story is something else. No, I've got it confused with a different book. This is just a Tales of Metropolis story at the end, which is kind of a throwaway story. But the first story was really touching and fun. And I think if you're a Superman fan and you need a good place to jump in, this is definitely it for you. You should jump in here. Next is issue 6 of King, Fornes, and Stewart, and we're talking about Rorschach, Black Label. I'm going to show these variants because although I think the covers are okay, I think the variants are much, much better for this run. I'm not sure why that is or who is doing them, but oh my God, they're so good. Now, the main cover for this issue is pretty good, but the rest of the issues, they've been kind of throwaway to me. I haven't liked them. And I can't figure out why they did that. Why did they let the variant author just blow it out of the water here? Anyways, so this centers around that gal that dresses like a cowboy and makes Rorschachs out of other people, it seems like. She's convincing other people that they're Rorschach. And her relationship with an older writer who wrote, get this, The Pirate Pontius, which is a callback to the original Watchmen comic that had the Pirate Pontius scene, which was not in the movie. So if you've only seen the Watchmen movie, you have no idea what I'm referring to. It's amazing.
The comic within the comic.
The comic within the comic. And they only show the newsman and the kid reading the comic for 1 second during that entire thing. Which their dialogue was my favorite dialogue. It wasn't even dialogue. It was mostly monologue of the old man talking to him. But
he's in the movie Joe too.
Is he?
Yeah.
because like their dialogue was literally my favorite part of like the original Watchmen, and
because they're reality.
yeah, and they cut them all out of the movie. I couldn't figure that one out. That was crazy. So that's what you get in this. Are we getting to the bottom of what happened with Rorschach and why his DNA was found in the... Not quite, but it's Tom King. Like Tom King, again, he reminds me in a lot of ways of his like Snyder, where you don't quite know where he's going. He's gonna seem like he's going one way and then pull it the other way. So is it good? Yes, it's great. It's great. The art's good. But is it as much action as the other issues? Not so much. He's slow burning something. We need to know where he's going. Oh my God, a new Odyssey starts here. There's new runs on so many DC books right now. This is Clunan, Conrad, Moore, and Von Villen. And this is Wonder Woman 770. But the new Odyssey is, get this. She dies and wakes up in Valhalla. Yeah, Valhalla. So we're doing Norse gods in Wonder Woman. Yes, that feels like a weird thing because the Norse gods tend to be Marvel. I mean, we reference them occasionally in DC, but I think didn't we have the event where like it was the Endless Winter event where like Norse gods showed up and they were like, I don't know who these people are. Like they were legitimately shocked by those gods. So we're getting some more mythos, and it's growing in weird ways. And we're seeing Wonder Woman in a position where she's less powered and a little bit more like she can be killed in this situation, which is kind of shocking. Yeah, and she was just like in Dark Knight's Death Metal, she was like a literal like top tier god. Like she was already a god, but now she's like top tier. Like who is it? The Quintessence wanted her. I was like, join us, and she's like, no. Do my own thing. I'm not a joiner unless it's the Justice League or the Justice League Dawn. Anyways, so is this great? Yes, it's awesome. The second story is pretty good. Again, the first story is the strongest. And the third story in this is the Nubia preview that we've seen. We've seen it like 3 or 4 times in a bunch of other issues. It looks good, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just something we keep seeing. They keep throwing it in the back of the books. So release it already so I can read it, please. Is it good? Yes, it's great. All right, we're going to get to my indie pick of the week. Oh, and my DC pick of the week absolutely is Wonder Woman. Just so you know, DC pick of the week. It was awesome. Like, seriously, it was really, really good. Clunan, man, you hit me. This is going to be my indie pick of the week, but you're going to have trouble finding it because technically it's an ash can. It's a preview issue. Do we have any extra, or is this just our only one?
That's our only one.
Wow, so this is just one for the store. So really, this shouldn't be my pick of the week. Anyways, my pick of the week. McKay, Guerra, and Consania. And this is Magic the Gathering. Oh my God, when this issue drops, you need to pick it up. Is it something you can buy this week? No, so it's not fair that I made it my pick of the week. It should be, I don't know. We'll do home. What's the home one?
Homesick Pilots.
Homesick Pilots. Homesick Pilots will be my pick of the week. If you can get a hold of this trash can and read it, you should. When this book comes out, it will absolutely be my indie pick of the week. This centers around Magic the Gathering's Ravnica. So the Ravnica city, different timelines, and some of the wizards, planeswalkers, some of the planeswalkers are betrayed and need to get to the bottom of everything. It is amazing, oddly enough. I know none of these characters and was hooked. The art was stellar, and we seem to think that the artist has ties to Power Rangers. I can't remember who's the artist on Power Rangers, but the art is stupid good. And the storyline was just absurdly cool. I got to the end of this and just wanted to read the next issue, and I honestly wished it was a trade so that I could just power through it. It's that good. Don't skip it. As somebody who hasn't played Magic the Gathering in, I don't know, a decade, I'm telling you that you need to pick this up. But we've got the ash can. Sorry. The last book. No. There's 2 more books. 2 more books. 3 more books. Holy crap. Okay. We're going to make this my Marvel pick of the week. We're going to finally unveil it. We don't have cover A for whatever reason, Diamond decided they weren't going to send us cover A, but they sent us several upon several of no cover issues where you get a stencil issue. No cover issues of what's the name of this book? Nonstop Spider-Man?
Yes.
It's not on the cover. Nonstop Spider-Man. Oh my God. Let's unpack everything about this. Now, I haven't really been bonding with the Nick Spencer run that much. And the only good Spider-Man currently on the shelf to me is the Ghost Spider stuff, which was Sean McGuire and Miles Morales. Who's writing Miles Morales? I can't remember. But it's great. Both of those comics are great. However, mainline Amazing Spider-Man has been hard for me to recommend. I haven't really bonded with the Nick Spencer stuff lately. But who's writing this, by the way? Does anyone know? I don't know either. I don't know who's writing it, and I don't know who did the art. I have no idea. Okay, well, at any rate, the art is stellar. Really, really good. And I'm talking amazing, amazing art. What they did in this was they did the whole angle panel look, but they made some of the panels fall off the page in certain scenes so that you would feel the chaos of these scenes. You would feel that the action was at times a bit claustrophobic, a bit wild, a bit chaotic. It worked perfectly. I felt like I was in the action. More importantly, you get near the end of the book and there's some webbing in between the panels, which makes it feel like Spidey's kind of pulling things back together. And it fit. It worked. I get what the artist was going for. So that alone is worth the price of admission. But the writing is also equally as good. I don't know who wrote it.
Joe Kelly.
Joe Killen?
Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly. I don't know Joe Kelly, but I want to know Joe Kelly because let me tell you, this person wrote an amazing issue. What it reminded me of was the opening McFarlane Spider-Man, the inner monologue where he's talking about like, oh, lizards never quite like this, like type stuff, and the way it goes back and forth. It was like that, but a bit more whimsical. And at times, Parker is torn. Like he will argue with himself. He will take himself down a peg, but then he'll come back to humor. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Every single page was amazing. So without a doubt, my Marvel pick of the week, without a doubt, is this. Oh, no, I said that Wonder Woman was my DC pick of the week. It's not. It's the Batman Urban Legends. It's both, though. I like them both. Batman Urban Legends. Okay. Anyways, back to this. Cam, what did you think of this book?
I had fun with it. I honestly thought it was the best Spider-Man thing in the last 2 years.
Cam says it's the best Spider-Man thing out in the last 2 years. I thought it was just the absolute best comic. I reached the end of it and I felt like I was 15 again, reading through comics and like discovering some new characters for the first time. It was that good. What? Next to Miles Morales, Cam says. It's neck and neck. I loved it. So good showing. You guys knocked it out of the park. And my Marvel pick of the week, I'm so excited to even be talking about this book like this. It was just amazing. We finally have it. I'm saying amazing about it, Nonstop Spider-Man, an amazing Spider-Man book. We finally have an amazing Spider-Man book that is just, I'm very proud to put on this shelf right now. It's this one.
Oh, the art was Chris Bachalo?
The art was who?
Chris Bachalo?
Chris Bachalo. Who is Chris? Who is this team they put together?
I don't know, but they have so good.
This team is amazing. I hope this is a long run. Next is another book that I had a really, really good time with it. This is Williams, Baldion, and Silva. And this is, well, it's XFactor. Now, XFactor is not a team that I wouldn't blame you if you weren't too familiar with them. One of them's Polaris. We should know them. One of them's Dawkins. We should know them, Wolverine's son. And the rest, well, they're weird characters that not a lot of people are familiar with. Eyes. I don't know Eyes all that well. And I like him. I like him as a character. But it's just, there's so many X-Men, there's so many mutant characters, and this is a team that, at first, it felt like they were putting together a D team. but they're great. They work well together. There's some magic here between them. And XFactor is fun. They've got a place called the Boneyard. It's sprung up overnight because Krakoa needed it to be in there. So it built itself. And now the Boneyard is haunted. And the last issue literally ended with some of them being murdered. And saying, like, they were hiding from it and saying, like, oh no, so-and-so's already dead. Which doesn't mean much, because if you die as a mutant, you get born in the hatchery, like, the next day. So it doesn't really mean much, but it's kind of wild. So we get a sort of Ghostbusters-esque issue with XFactor. And it's fun. I loved it. I honestly think of all the mutant books, aside from maybe X-Men and Marauders, which I think are the top tier, I'm going to say, this one is my third favorite pick. You shouldn't skip it. It's great. Who wrote this, by the way? This is Williams, Baldion, and Silva. They're great. What a good team. Okay. Oh, what did I say was my indie pick of the week?
You said it was that Magic.
No, I said I couldn't say that.
Homesick Pilots.
Homesick Pilots. I'm going to take that back because I got to this book and I think it's changed. This is my indie pick of the week for sure. Oh, and it's a Grant Morrison book. So Grant Morrison, like, I'm mad at you for the Green Lantern season stuff. I don't like that, but I loved this. This is Proctor Valley Road, and this is Grant Morrison, Alex Child, Naomi Franquez, and Tamara Bonvillain. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't remember what books I had this week, so I was giving you picks of the week that weren't quite there yet. This is, well, it takes place in the 60s, and some kids are getting together, and they're sort of the outcasts, and they're dealing with, well, a dash of racism, a dash of the Vietnam War, which was the 60s. I shouldn't say dash, because it was just overbearing racism and overbearing Vietnam War. But on top of that, like, these kids are trying to raise money to go to Janis Joplin. Go see a Janis Joplin concert. How wholesome is that? Unfortunately, the idea they come up with is to drive people through a haunted road called Proctor Valley, the Proctor Valley Road. Is it haunted? Yes, by some sinister stuff that we only get glimpses of. And so the story's good. The dialogue's good. I kind of like the stage they've set. I want to see where it's going. And it's not Grant Morrison just being weird for the sake of being weird. It's Grant Morrison crafting a story and characters that I'm intrigued by. So I want to know where this is going. I'm going to preface this like this. It felt to me like a spooky, borderline horror story combined with art that felt like the Lumberjanes. It worked. Yeah, maybe. It worked. It really worked. And I was super into these characters. Like, I want to know more about this team. So anyways, Proctor Valley Road, indie pick of the week for sure. I'm sorry I gave you a fake indie pick of the week because I thought the Magic the Gathering Ashcan was a real book. This week it's not. So it's Proctor Valley Road is my indie pick of the week. And that's our show for this week. There we go. Anything else to add, guys? Oh, Saturday we have an artist. What's his name again? I don't want to. Hicham Hopshi. Who is an artist that not only is doing Batman Urban Legends, he's done a Catwoman variant recently. He's done quite a bit, Spawn. And he was an artist for Riot Games, so he may or may not have worked on like League of Legends, Borderlands, what else?
Oh, God. The only thing I can think of is League of Legends.
Okay, League of Legends. His art is really good. Where's that cat
Right there on top, yeah.
Where's it at?
You want what? Let me go grab
I can't
that.
find it.
Urban Legend.
I've got one of those somewhere. Where's this Catwoman?
Upside down. That one.
Look at this Catwoman he did. That is amazing.
Then here's the A cover that he did for Urban Legend once again.
Oh, man. Okay. So, can't wait. I think I knocked your jacket down. That's our show for this week. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Ew.
The event we will be letting people into the stores, onesie, twosies, and not crowding the artist. And if we have to, we will have people wait outside in a very well-spaced line. We will take proper precautions for the event. And I can't think of anything else. I guess that's our show. We'll see you guys later.
Yay!
Is that our closing music?